palm trees, hula skirts, and luxury resorts. That is how the United States frames an 800-year-old civilization, a personal island for Americans. But beneath the lush palm trees, private pools, and celebrity mansions lies the story of a people far beyond American commercialism, a people who once belonged to the strongest empire in the Pacific. This is the story of Hawaiʻi, a stolen paradise. Located between the Tropic of Cancer and the equator, the islands of Hawaiʻi are known as a tropical haven for recreation, agriculture, and biodiversity. It is this immense biodiversity that incentivized the Polynesian explorers arriving in Hawaii, Maui, Oahu, Molokai, Lanai, and Neʻahu to inhabit the islands, becoming the native Hawaiian people of today. The topography of Hawaii and its islands necessitated an ecological division that separated different landforms based on their flora, inhabitable areas, and proximity to water. This system was referred to as the ahupua, dividing upland forests as wauinahele, agricultural lands as waukanaka, and wetland shores as kahakai. The Hawaiian agrarian system was then rooted in religion, government, and environmental studies. Each ahupua system was run by an ali'i who served the agricultural god Lono. It is under the ali'i the konohiki resource specialists work to manage facets of the ahupua with region-specific experts called the Luna. This was the primary system governing the people for centuries before European arrival, each island practicing its own version of ahupua. This relatively peaceful system was then disrupted by the arrival of a European explorer, James Cook, in 1778. This arrival exposed the then ali'i Kamehameha, nephew of the ali'i nui Kalaniʻopuʻu of Hawaii, to Western weaponry and naval transportation. This primary contact led to many others, allowing Kamehameha to acquire the strongest naval force in the Pacific. As Kamehameha became the ali'i nui, he captured European and American vessels, ensuring all trade was for the sole purpose of acquiring weapons. This increasing naval force allowed Kamehameha to conquer Oahu, Maui, and Lanai. As he captured the remaining Hawaiian islands, the ali'i nui of Kauai ceded the island to Kamehameha, and in 1810 the Kingdom of Hawaii was unified. This unification enabled the government of Hawaii to adopt some European monarchical characteristics within their government. To develop his newly found kingdom, Kamehameha increased trade with the existing world powers and established Hawaii as the official port stop between Pacific trade routes. As Kamehameha I developed military relations with the European explorers, the Hawaiian kingdom's connection to England became of geopolitical importance. As Euro-Hawaii relations increased, so did the Western influences within Hawaii. This influence was first politically realized with the abolition of the kapu legal system by Queen Ka'ahumanu. This Western sentiment was furthered by Kamehameha II, who traveled to England in 1824 to discuss an alliance with the British Empire on part of the Hawaiian government. This allowed the steady introduction of Christianity, with American missionaries dominating the religious expansion. Slowly, this religious trade became political and economic. Following 1820, the Hawaiian Islands saw a large influx of American missionaries. This, coupled with the steady decrease of the native Hawaiian population due to the introduction of foreign disease, would go on to constitute demographic and political changes. These missionaries, originally opposed to the mass production of sugar, would then go on to become sugar plantation owners. Until this time, Hawaiian agricultural development was domestically focused, with minimal surplus being exported to the United States as well as to China. As such, the nation's primary ecological system remained the ahupua, under which natural resources were communal property. However, the abolition of the kapu paved the way for Western legality. As such, the growing Protestant population began introducing Western agricultural methods to the islands, marking the slow transition from ahupua to Western agrarian practices. It is this prioritization of agricultural output over environmental sustainability that led to the near destruction of sandalwood forests in Hawaii. The constant presence of American gunboats that demanded Hawaiian sandalwood for the price of freedom and peace only exasperated the issue. As the American missionaries were rapidly integrated into Hawaiian society, their political influences and positions grew. This newfound power dynamic birthed the Great Mahele of 1848, a land redistribution document that divided Hawaii into 3 jurisdictions: the king's lands, the chief's lands, and governmental land. This allowed private property ownership. As such, the government leased land to the American missionaries, marking the beginning of Hawaii's ecologically devastating sugar plantations. Following the establishment of the Great Mahele, sugar plantations in Hawaii increased rapidly. By 1920, the industry was diverting an average of 800 million gallons of surface water per day, and this was from the existing water systems that Native Hawaiians had relied on for centuries. Following the economic implications of the Great Mahele and policies introducing indentured laborers from the east, sugar plantations grew rapidly, with exports to the United States seeing a 400% increase from 1846 to 1857. During this time, sugar plantations were owned by 5 major companies: Alexander and Baldwin, American Factors, Castle and Cook, C. Brewer, as well as Theo Davies. As most plantations were on Maui, their missionary owners began diverting natural groundwater and streams in the region to vitalize the sugarcane production. The traditional ahupua system relied on the usage of streams, springs, and shallow creeks of water to irrigate crops, especially implemented by the Native Hawaiians living in the wild Kanaka regions. As such, groundwater has been historically crucial to the survival of Hawaii and its people. Seeking to mass-produce a singular crop, the missionaries channeled this groundwater to support large plantations. 1 ton of sugar required 1 million gallons of water, and the groundwater discoveries in Oahu and Honolulu rapidly transformed the regions into commercial production houses. As subsidized steamship travel from San Francisco to Hawaii increased, the nation became economically characterized by its sugar agriculture. The loss of land for Native Hawaiians, coupled with their dwindling population due to foreign disease, has forced many to work on these plantations to support their families. This led to the nation's collective dependence on sugar exports, an economic facet that allowed Hawaii to import necessary items from foreign nations, primarily the United States. A growing economic relationship between the two became an early sign of economic failure. As planters saw the immense potential for sugar exports to the United States, they sought to eliminate the competitive edge of the American domestic sugar market. This was done through lobbying the American government to eliminate increasingly high tariffs on Hawaiian products. As King Kalakaua rose to power in 1874, he signed the Reciprocity Treaty of 1875, allowing the United States duty-free access to Hawaii while granting Hawaii with the same privilege. The effects of the 1875 reciprocity deal on Hawaii's economy were monumental to the nation's near future. As the United States lifted tariffs on Hawaiian products, plantation production soared, rising from 21 million pounds of sugar in 1876 to 114 million pounds of sugar in 1883. Aside from Hawaii's role as the gateway to American commercial control in the Pacific, the island was a key facet in extending political control through militarization. The desire for military control over the Pacific rose in response to European colonial pursuits in the region. In 1873, American forces began scouting the islands for a naval port and identified Pearl Harbor as a strategic location. Leveraging its growing commercial power over the Hawaiian kingdoms, the United States secured this critical asset. The pursuit of imperial expansion into Asia and commercial gain further entrenched U.S. interests, culminating in the annexation of the islands in 1898. The Organic Act of 1900 solidified U.S. sovereignty by officially making Hawaii an American territory. This legal transition is what enabled extensive militarization of the islands, including the naval port construction at Pearl Harbor and numerous military projects from 1911 to 1914. The bombing of Pearl Harbor in 1941 intensified military presence and authority on the islands, shifting Hawaii's economy and identity toward dependency on defense infrastructure. As military expansion continued, agricultural and other land uses that were traditional gave way to military dominance, aligning Hawaii's future with the U.S. strategic interests in the Pacific. Transportation innovations, particularly the rise of steamships, accelerated Hawaii's economic transformation. As steamships arrived, travel between San Francisco and Honolulu became faster and more reliable, supported by the U.S. government subsidies to shipping companies. These regular steamship routes primarily carried cargo, but they also laid the groundwork for Hawaii's emerging tourism industry, as the passengers aboard these ships served as Hawaii's first tourists. Efforts to formalize tourism began in 1892 with the Hawaiian Bureau of Information. Though it failed to attract sustained interest, later bureaucratic initiatives promoted the arrival of white tourists, encouraged by figures like Lauren A. Thurston. With the monarchy dismantled and tourism agencies receiving regular territorial funding, tourism had become a dominant force in Hawaii's economy, reinforcing the island's dependency on American infrastructure, capital, and ideology. Today, America decorates Hawaii as a tourist heaven, while local conditions remain hell for its native people. Corporations continue to build alongside the nation's waters while its forests burn. So while you celebrate the Rimpak Games, purchase cans of tropical fruits, and picture Honolulu's towering skyscrapers, remember the ocean's plagued with bullets, the forests bulldozed to build plantations, and the people forced to live in the tents unseen from 43rd-story hotels. Because before American colonization, this land bore a Hawaiian flag.